I'm saying? Because you got so many people in the background helping make the music, whether it's writing, you know, producing, just anything that contributes, and then you have an artist that could easily just claim it as their own idea. And, you know, and obviously all the fans are going to be like, yeah, and then you're going to have that one lone voice, but wait, that was my idea. And everyone's going to be like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm sure that happens all the time. So I'm not surprised that happened. It kind of sucks to hear that about that, such a great album, you know, but, you know, it happens.
I was reading something, this is a little off topic, but Logic, he put out a tweet just a while ago about how certain producers, you know, they make beats and they have samples. And for guys who don't know what sampling essentially is when you take a part of somebody else's beat and add it to your own to make it sound better. Kanye West is notorious for it, J. Cole, everyone samples.
Yeah.
The only thing is, though, which is kind of dumb, is that to use a sample, you have to get clearance from the creator of that original song.
Right.
Which is kind of stupid if you think about it. You have to pay that person, of course, but Logic made a good point to say that because some of these samples are cleared, these artists can't take off like they want to. And that these producers have some beats that really make their careers if they can get the sample clearance.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs that end up just getting leaked, you know, because the sample won't get clear, and a lot of times, you know, those songs are amazing. You're like, why? How come this isn't on an album? And this is because for whatever reason, the artist that is sampled is won't give them clearance. But you think that it would be like a definite like you can use my song, like, but I don't know, man. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I don't know why people wouldn't. Maybe it's because they don't like the type of music, so they don't want their. Which I could definitely see that, especially if it's an older person, you know, and they're like, well, I don't, you know, I'm not a fan of hip hop, so no, you can't use my song as a sample, or whether it's, you know, they want more money or whatever the case is. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that happens a lot of the time. Just they can't get the samples clear, so these songs never get released officially, you know, because you might be able to find them on YouTube or SoundCloud or something like that, you know.
My thing is, why not? You're gonna get paid. They legally have to pay you, so you're gonna get paid if the sample clears. And what does it matter? It's not like you're making the song. I mean, it just bugs me.
But it is your song though. You know that's getting sampled, even if it doesn't matter how big or how small the sample is. You know, like they wouldn't be able to create that song unless you make your song. You know what I'm saying? So, regardless, and. You know, there's a lot that goes into, you know, getting samples cleared. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot tougher if the person that is has passed away. So now they're dealing with like family or whoever is in charge of, you know, all of that for that certain particular artist. So I mean, it's just, you know, there's probably so much more that goes into it than just a phone call. Yo, can I use your song? Okay, cool, thanks. You know, there's probably so much more that goes into it, clearly, because there's plenty of samples that just haven't gotten cleared, and those songs and beats are just amazing. You know, so.
100%. So, next thing we want to say, and also happy birthday to one of the greatest rappers ever, another one, Andre 3000. He turns 44 today.
Happy birthday.
Man, one of the best rappers on the planet ever.
GOAT.
I don't care. Nobody says that. Andre 3K feature. Whew.
I mean, he always goes it though, you know.
Always.
I don't think I've never seen anybody ever disrespect Andre 3000. It's always been nothing but praise whenever I see him mentioned by anybody, really.
For real, yeah. All right, next up we got big shout out to our local boys, Admiral Schofield, Malik Yarrow, and best of luck to you guys in the upcoming draft.
Yes.
Admiral, you're a year younger than us, if you're listening. You're a year younger than us, man, but we so proud of you, bro. I remember I used to play football with Admiral on the Zion Bend Junior ZBs. He was a short little fat kid, and he played center. He was just a goofy dude, but now I see him getting older, and we had a strength training class our senior year of high school. We had that class together, and just talking to him, man, to see him grow up from a young boy to this man that he is now, I'm very proud of him, man. Not only because you're from Zion, because I know he was a person. Super proud of you. You went D1. You did great at Tennessee. You guys were #1 ranked team. I'm really happy for you. Malik, man, you're doing great things as well, bro. You were at St. Louis University, had to transfer. You're doing great, man. You're making your dad proud. Rest in peace to Big Deal. You're making your dad super duper proud, bro. Please keep up the good work.
Yeah, man, they're just doing a great job. I mean, isn't Admiral's like a whole family in like professional sports?
O'Brien is a professional football player.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm missing one.
I feel like he has another brother.
I feel like he does.
That's also professional.
I think
something.
I don't want to say yes to be wrong, but I think he might be. I know O'Brien's played for the Seahawks, played for the Falcons, I believe he played for the Cardinals too.
Yeah, I mean that's just
amazing.
Shout out to that family.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't it though?
Crazy. Yeah, but I mean I wish him nothing but the best in the upcoming draft. I hear some rumors that the Bulls might draft Admiral, which would be dope. You know, if that's possible. You know, hometown kid. Yeah. He's Illinois. You know, so that'd be super super cool. But yeah, I mean, like I said, best of luck for both of them. I'm sure they're gonna do big things once they get there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And even with that, Like, just to hear that someone from our itty bitty town is making it out, actually doing something big, it's super inspirational.
Super inspirational. It's like, man, they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah, man, super happy. All right, guys. Next thing we got up. Next thing. This is kind of nuts. So, I'm sure you guys know. If you guys know, our oceans are polluted, like bad, and we need the environment to survive. I don't understand why people cut down trees. I don't really get it. Trees are a lifeline. We need trees in order to live. They get rid of the bad stuff for us. So, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, right? It's a patch of garbage in the Pacific Ocean that is estimated to be 3 times the size of France, and covers 1.6 million square kilometers of the Pacific Ocean between Hawaii and California. That's a country. That's 3 countries.
Yeah, I learned about this in class earlier this year, but it's kind of just baffling when you realize that there's a pile of garbage that's just floating around the ocean, and it's just, and a lot of it's actually floating. You see it on top, but a lot of it's actually sinking to the bottom. A lot of it's microplastics, super, super small that, all types of fish eat, and it just ruins their stomachs. It kills them. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the stories of whales washing up on the shores with just ridiculous amounts of plastic in their stomach, and it's just like, when is the wake-up call going to come? You know what I'm saying? What I fear is it's going to be too late at that point. There's going to be irreversible damage. I mean, there's already been irreversible damage, I'm sure, but like there's going to be even more to the point where it's like really like, whoa, like, we really have to change the way we're living forever now.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping some things happen. I do know there's countries that are, making a push to try to be cleaner, and I think there was a state that banned styrofoam. Like,
California.
Was it California?
They banned plastic straws.
Oh no! Okay, they banned plastic straws, but I think there's another state. I think it was like Maine. I don't know though. Up in like the east, but like they banned styrofoam like takeout containers altogether.
Really?
Yeah, which is dope, And I think it was either like Thailand or the Philippines or something like that they're using banana leaves to like package vegetables and stuff in supermarkets instead of plastic. So I mean, there's small pockets of things going on, but it definitely needs to be a global scale. Just everyone needs to do their part, and a lot of the times it seems like almost people feel like, well, I'm not going to be alive when it really affects us, so I'm not going to worry about it. But that's actually not true.
I hate that.
That's really not true at all. I mean, like, I hear countless reports saying that in the coming like 10, 20 years, like, that's when serious damage is going to be done, and we're obviously going to be alive for that. So why would you not want to do your part,
Why would you not want to do the right thing anyway? It literally serves no purpose to do the bad thing, and it's nothing but positivity to do the good thing. It takes little to no effort to educate yourself and make a better decision. We've been recycling in my house for years. The job I work at, we don't recycle. Now I work at a place where, some things are more confidential, so some stuff I understand, but there's a leeway where we can't recycle certain things. But it's not up to me. I work for a bigger company.
Right.
And my job, and it's really frustrating. So the solution for it, glad you brought that up, bro. Now, to give you guys a little bit more knowledge, plastic in our oceans enter the sea through our rivers, and is estimated by OceanCleanup.com that 1.15 to 2.41 tons of plastic are entering the ocean every year from rivers. Majority of the plastic, as you said, is not as dense as the ocean and remain floating at the top. Now, I'm bringing this up because 24-year-old Boyan Slot, if I'm saying that right, has a program called the Ocean Cleanup Project. He has created a 600-meter-long floater that sits on the surface of the water with a skirt, which is like a net, that goes down 3 meters. Now, per PositiveNews.com, the team estimates that a full-scale cleanup system rollout of the fleet of 60 systems, so 60 systems of the 600-meter-long floater, can clean up 50% of the garbage patch in 5 years. So it takes 5 years to clean up a patch.
That's a big patch.
Garbage.
Though,
That's
man.
ridiculous.
That's a big patch.
Jesus.
It's not like you said. What is it? 3 times the size of France.
3 times the size of France.
That's a whole country. I mean, so it's big. But I mean, again, that just shows how big our pollution is. Like, this isn't just like a year project where we're just gonna work hard for 1 year and everything's gonna be good. Like, no, this is gonna take a long time to get back to where this is. We've been doing this for hundreds of years, adding pollution into the environment. So now it's just foolish to think it's gonna be a quick fix. So that's why all the major players in the world just got to kind of band together and get serious about it. And you gotta think about this too. A lot of companies are making a lot of money doing the things that they're doing, so it's gonna be hard to kind of convince them, like, yo, like, I know you're not gonna be making as much money doing this sustainably, but it's gonna help out so many other people. You know, like, it comes down to them. Do they really care? Mm-hmm. You know, if they're making more money or not. So there's a lot that goes into that. You know.
Well, if you sustain the earth, you can make money longer.
Yeah, but you know, not all of them are thinking long term.
Unfortunately, and that's the sad part, because all of us are here for the long run. You know, they say life is short, but yet we have a lot of life ahead of us. I think what they mean by that is, even though we're in our 20s and we have, you know, years to live, life is still short because life happens so fast.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think people really understand that. Like, I'm sure someone who's been alive for a long time can look back and be like, wow, like, man, there's a ton of garbage in the ocean. I want to go for a swim and take my boat out, but I can't. I just cannot imagine being on a boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and looking over to see just a huge, just miles and miles and miles of just garbage. I'd feel so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think about the animals sometimes, like because they're not adding to this at all. You know what I'm saying? It's literally just all humans.
Right.
All of us, we're the ones that are just destroying the earth. Oh my God! And I mean, you know, you mentioned the garbage patch, and we got deforestation going on, and a lot of those trees are holding in the carbon dioxide.
Yes.
And once you cut those down, it gets released into the atmosphere, and then I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. And you know, we were talking earlier about. And as an individual, you know, you should just want to do the right thing. But a lot of the times, people don't even know what the right thing is, you know, and it's not super easy to access that type of stuff. Right. You know, there's certain things that you can recycle, but there's a certain way you have to recycle it. Like, you have to go out of your way and take it somewhere, you know, and not everyone knows where that's at, or there's not one that's close by you, you know, and a lot of people don't know what can and cannot be recycled. For example, like a pizza box, I believe if it's wet, you can't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there's you can't just recycle anything. That's cardboard, you know what I'm saying?
Correct. There are rules.
There are a lot of
numbers
rules.
and the triangles on the back, guys. Typically, whatever neighborhood you give it, if they offer recycling, they should give you like a card or some type of key or plastic placard that will show you what you can recycle, what you cannot recycle.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down, for the individual at least, it comes down to just education, you know, and what we need to do, especially for the young generations, is teach that in school so they grow up knowing that. And then they don't put it on us to have to go out of our way to look up what we need to do, because we might be looking at the wrong information, you know, or some people are just lazy and just don't want to do it or don't care, you know. But if you grow up saying, you know, being taught these things, and it's gonna be part of your life already, you know, and you're not gonna have to change once you're already 30 years old. You've been doing it one way for 30 years, and you're like, okay, let me switch my way of life, you know, and I gotta figure out all this information now just so I can sustain the earth. But you know, so it just comes down to education, man. That's really what it boils down to, for the individual at least.
Absolutely, man. Big shout out to you, Mr. Devonn Slots. I forget what country you're from. Appreciate it, man. We gotta take better care of the earth. All right, next thing we got, man. This is semi-negative. I try to stay away from negative news, guys, but I think there's a lesson behind this. I'll be jumping down a little bit. If you guys know who the rapper DaBaby is, DaBaby, his album called Baby on Baby, hard, one of the best projects to come out this year. He got into it with a guy when he was out in public. And let me start from the beginning. The guy on Instagram was barking at him, calling him names, calling him saying whatever. And DaBaby, you know, being a dude that he is from the streets, was like, yo, pull up on me. Do what you gonna say.
Right.
And they ran into each other at what looked to be a jewelry store.
I think it was Louis Vuitton.
Oh, excuse me. I'm too poor. Okay.
Yeah, for real.
So, they're in the store. He's japping at him, talking to him crazy, yada, yada, yada. So DaBaby takes his stuff off. You know, he's talking to him like, man, you talking all this craziness. Come step to me. And eventually the guy took a swing. Long story short, DaBaby beat the man out of his pants.
Apparently, it was 2-on-1. The security guard was there. So, which I can see that. But either way, I mean, you shouldn't be talking. Like, what? I just don't get the point of that. Like,
thank you. That's what I was getting.
like, why? Like, you see someone successful, and your first thought is, I'm about to talk so much trash about the dude. I'm about to be talking out the side of my neck. It's just like, yo, like, can't you just be happy?
Yeah, man.
You feel me? And maybe there was like behind the scenes stuff going on, but I mean, I don't know. But like, just be happy for the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just can't you just wish him success?
Yeah.
I guess the other dude was a musician as well, so maybe he was just trying to start some beef so he could pop off too.
See, that's lame.
That's super lame,
why?
right? Yeah,
like,
lame.
You know, you're sitting here, you come to another grown man. See, we, as consumers, we have to remember that we look at these people just as artists or as these objects. They're people too, just like us. And this, I'm not gonna lie, had that dude been coming to my face and all that kind of stuff, he was calling him a B word, saying he's soft, saying all these kind of different words. I don't know how I'd react either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't want to catch a case, I'll be honest with you. So I'll probably put myself in a situation. But at the same time, you know, you look at the big picture, just like, why? Why are you calling this grown man out of his name over the internet? That you see in person, you doing the same thing. And you know it's potential because he's recording it. If you actually had beef with dude, you wouldn't have recorded it. You would have just walked up to him and said what you had to say. Like, it's so lame, it's so corny to me, man.
It's almost like clout is a disease now.
Yes,
you know
I think it is,
like,
man.
People just do wild stuff just to get noticed, you know, get talked about for a couple minutes of fame, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy, but that's been going on for the longest time, though. Especially in hip hop, you got someone popping off, and then you got some random person that's just barking. It's like, where'd you even come from? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know, but yeah, exactly. If they had real beef, you know, are you really gonna walk in there and record it? You know, why don't you just settle it if it's real beef? You know, which I honestly think nowadays all the beefs that we see, I'd argue like 80% of them are not even real.
That's true.
You feel me? Like, how many times you see some people saying some crazy disrespectful stuff on Instagram Live, you know, talking, and then next week they're buddy making songs. It's like, yo, you just dissed like all of their dead homies, and now you guys are cool again. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. A lot of the beef I feel nowadays is just for clout, just for sales, you know, just to hype themselves up.
Yeah, super duper corny. All right, next thing we're gonna get off that stupidness. Now we're gonna get into part of this. And we're gonna go into the break. I know you really want to talk about this. There's been a trend going on lately on NBA Twitter, and what they're saying is, has certain situations have never happened. There's certain stipulations. Would the NBA have changed? A good one here. What they're saying is, which one would you have rather seen happen?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Michael Jordan never retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe and Shaq never splitting up. Bron and Kobe in the finals. And D Rose never gets hurt.
I personally picked D Rose never getting hurt. Mm-hmm. I think most people would, you know, because that was such a talent, you know, this raw talent that everybody, you know, you couldn't help but be a fan of the guy, you know, and to see him get injured like that, it's just, it's heartbreaking, you know, and I mean, he was on the ropes to the top, you know, and to see if he were to never get hurt, I mean, the East would probably be completely different, you know, the teams probably wouldn't, the people that are teaming up now probably wouldn't be on the same team, you know, like, you never know what would have happened, you know, but we're never gonna know. But it would have been so nice to see Derrick Rose not get injured. He probably would have won a ring by now, maybe a couple more, you know. I mean, just the whole face of the NBA, it's completely different, I feel, at least.
Honestly, I feel like an uninjured D Rose is probably one of the best point guards ever. I mean, in my opinion, he's already one of the best point guards ever. I mean, he's one of the most unguardable players that we've ever seen. Speed, skill, athleticism, able to finish at the rim. When he started to develop a jump shot before he got hurt. Now his jump shot's great.
Yeah, he has a really good jump shot now.
So had he not gotten hurt, still developed that jump shot, and kept playing with Bulls.
Unstoppable.
Oh, under Thibs and that team? Come on, man. I honestly think that we'd be talking about him being one of the best point guards ever, like without discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone can agree with that, you know, because even when he did in that short span, youngest MVP ever. I mean, he was just, the stuff he was doing was just like, wow, it was amazing. It was really something crazy to see. I don't even think we'd be talking about Westbrook right now if D Rose never got injured. Like Westbrook would just be another point guard. You know, D Rose would have definitely taken that lane. You know, but it sucks. It sucks seeing him get injured. But this past season, you know, he's definitely coming to his own. We'll see what happens in free agency. I hear, you know, rumors that the Bulls might try to get at him. That'd be cool to get a veteran presence, and I'd love to see him on the Bulls again. Yeah. You know, but at the same time, I want to see him win a ring. And I don't know how fast it's going to happen if he comes to Chicago. You know, I guess it depends on who's coming. But after just seeing what Toronto did to Milwaukee, you know, there might be a new powerhouse in the East for a couple of years, as long as Kawhi stays in Toronto. Which I feel like he's going to. I'm sorry, but I know you have to do something with it. You go ahead.
I think he's going to stay too, because you go to the finals. Why would you leave the team that's going to the finals? That's just dumb.
Exactly.
That's just
I don't know. Maybe.
But one thing I was thinking about in terms of R&B artists, and really in terms of him, is a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
How do you follow up 40? That's tough.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We were talking about, like, when it comes to R&B artists, and evolving and like changing their sound and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to do that.
It is.
You know, because like you're a singer. You know, so
Right.
you want to hear your voice. So how do you like change it up? I mean, I'm sure he's gonna come back with a pretty strong sophomore album. It's gonna be as good as his first. I don't know, but I don't think it's gonna be bad at all. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Because he's an amazing artist.
Mhm.
He sounds good. The production behind it was crisp, and to me, there's no skips on the album. One other person we think had a sophomore slump, or we know he did, was Bryson Tiller. You know,
Yeah.
you got to follow up like Trap Soul, which is classic. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's so fire. But then you got True to Self, and honestly, it wasn't a bad sounding album. It
Mhm.
wasn't garbage as everyone made it out to be. It doesn't sound bad. It was just not Trap Soul, and he's doing the same thing on there.
Yeah. Where is Bryson Tiller? I haven't heard much from him lately.
He's living his best life with his woman, and it's not like all jokes aside. And he did put up a live like last week of him in the studio, but I don't remember hearing any music. I watched it for a few minutes, so I don't know what he's doing, man. He said last year we're gonna get an album with Summer Vibes, so I don't know if that's gonna come out this year or the year after that. I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's just I've gotten to the point where I used to be like, "Where's the music at? Where's the music at? Where's the music at?" But they don't understand they're people too. And they gotta live their lives and gotta do what's best for them.
Exactly.
So I mean, I would love to hear it eventually. You know, if we get it Bryson to out 4 years from now, I'm like, yo, come on, man, that was 4 years, but I'm still take it, even though it was 4 years ago.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, I'd rather artists take their time on albums instead of rushing, try to put out a project every year.
Mhm.
You know, because then clearly you didn't put all your effort into that. You know, if you're just pumping out albums. You know, so. If it does take 4 years, but it's a hot album, then I won't be mad.
Yeah,
Personally,
that's valid. That's good.
Sure, felt.
I was gonna say, yo, where you going? That's 100 valid. But then we also got SZA. Her album was so unique, Control. Just the way it was put together, her sound. She sounds so unique. I really, really, really messed with it. But I gotta listen to the other one called Z. I believe it called her mixtape.
I don't know.
I believe it was called Z, man. I gotta look that up. What are your feelings on SZA?
I like SZA. She definitely had a dope year last year, 2018. I'm interested to see what she's gonna do next. But I think she'll be fine. I really do, because everyone was really feeling her sound. I really liked it. So as long as she keeps coming out with what she's been doing, you know, maybe just a couple changes here and there, just try to experiment a little bit. I think she'll be fine, especially because she's on TDE.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're gonna take care of her. I'm not even worried about that.
100%. So again, guys, we're gonna go back to saying artist development now. Rappers, you know, for example, I was talking to a good friend of mine about, you know, not trying to box yourself in one lane. And a lot of rappers you hear coming up, they always talking about, you know, doing drugs, shooting with the guns, yada yada, or like the heavy trap beats. Do we let some artists get away with doing the same thing every time because it's so good? Or do we expect some artists to evolve every single time?
I don't know. I think it's up to the artist, you know, like, we don't expect, like, when you drop your one album, okay, that's all we really know of you album-wise, you know, so you can drop something completely different in your next album. But if you're just dropping the same thing every single time, then yeah, I'm gonna expect that from you. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm all for it. We've had this conversation many times, but I'm all for artists trying new things. You know, experimenting, because they're always going through something different in life. You know, and a lot of times they take inspiration from what they're going through, so they're gonna make different types of albums. You know, not every fan wants something different from these artists. You know, so imagine someone that was just super heavy in the trap, all of a sudden comes out and is on some, you know, doing conscious stuff, or this, you know, are their fans, their core fans, are gonna want to hear that? You know, so I can see sometimes artists feeling like they don't necessarily want to make an album like that again, but because they know that their fans want that from them, and they might not get the support if they try something different, so they're just kind of like, all right, let's make another one. You know, so that's what I think happens a lot, personally.
That's valid. I feel like, again, you know, and I was on the phone with this gentleman after. Big shout out to my boy Charles. We were saying how, you know, I completely lost my train of thought. Wow, completely lost my train of thought.
All right, well, we were talking about, you know, artists, experimentation, and putting out the same thing every year or 2 years.
Good Lord. Nah, it's gone.
It's gone?
That thought left.
All right.
That's crazy.
On to something new.
That thought left. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, wait, no, I think I got it. Okay, so no, it's gone. That thought's gone. All right. So guys, to the NBA Finals. How do you feel about the finals so far? Toronto, Golden State.
I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it. I definitely want Toronto to win, but depending on who the Warriors get back, Cousins. I know KD is not playing Game 1.
Correct.
Cousins, I think, is questionable. But if they get both of them back, it's going to be a tough time for Toronto. But everyone was counting them out when they were down 2-0 up against Milwaukee, and then clearly they did some magic and won. So we'll see what happens with the finals. I know Kawhi is not going to fold. You know what he's going to do is he might go average like 50 points in the finals. It'd be crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be some pretty good games. I think it might go. I can see it going to like maybe 5-6 games.
I think they're not going to sweep the Raptors.
I don't think so.
No, they're not going to sweep them. But I think it'll be at least 5.
Yeah.
At least 5 solid games, depending on who they get back. Toronto's role players haven't been playing as good as they could been throughout these playoffs. They stepped it up last series against Milwaukee, obviously, but overall they haven't really been playing that well. But against Golden State, you got to play well. You gotta
be at 100% when you're playing Golden State because they're not gonna let you just slack. You know, even when they're missing the key players, they got so many of the people that can put points on the board. It's frustrating, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Toronto has to come with a great game, and I'm sure they know that. They're not obviously they're not a stupid team. They know what they need to do. So, and Kawhi has been in this situation before. He's played these guys before, so he probably is, letting the team know what needs to be done, how to play, and the mentality that they need to go into the finals with. So I think it's going to be pretty good, and we'll see what happens. I think Game 1 is a necessary win for Toronto. They've got to capitalize on Kevin Durant being out, and then we're going to see what happens. But it's going to be a pretty good series, I feel, at least.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
One thing that's really interesting going across the web here is to say Chris Broussard said that he feels that the Warriors are better without Kevin Durant, and that he feels that them being better without KD is KD's worst nightmare. I think that's stupid to say because why would you not want your team to win? That's ridiculous. But my thing is, there's no way he can't be. They're not better without him. He's like top 3 player on the planet. He's the greatest scorer of all time, if not number 2 or number 3.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you could be the best player in the world, but it all comes out at the end of the day, chemistry. You know what I'm saying? But just not a fit. Not saying that they aren't.
I was gonna say because he fits real
good. I mean, yeah, obviously they're a really great team together, but the Warriors have been playing great without him as well. And I can see where he's coming from, saying that might be KD's worst nightmare, just because I know already people are kind of the 2 championships he's won with the Warriors. Kind of people are kind of like, whatever. Obviously you're gonna win that. Put an asterisk next to it. So I could see if the Warriors are playing really, really well, and say they do sweep the Raptors, and then the question would be like, well, they didn't even need you to win those 2, championships to begin with. Those don't really count. Obviously, they do count because they're championships, but so I could definitely see that just kind of being his worst nightmare, just because everyone's gonna be like, you just joined the team for easy wins. They didn't need you, which they didn't need them. I mean, they just came off the 73 win season. So I was, oh my god, I don't even want to talk about that.
I understand. Now, if I'm KD, I don't go to Golden State, period, at all, personally, me. But at the same time, I think what everyone's saying is that they play better as a collective. As a team, they play better. Everyone has to be involved more. The ball's moving more because Kevin's not there, obviously. He's a scorer. Not saying he stops the offense, but when you're a scorer, you hold on to the ball, you make plays for yourself.
Yeah.
But to say that, that they're better without him, I highly disagree with that. Their style of play changes. They pass a lot more. Stephen Clay taking more shots. Draymond takes over the ball a lot more.
I enjoy watching them more without Kevin Durant than with Kevin Durant.
That's very true. The ball doesn't stop. It keeps moving. They get better shots. Then see that I understand.
You get to watch good basketball, pure basketball, passing, fundamentals and stuff. And then you can see Curry go crazy, But yeah, with Kevin Durant on the team, when he is playing, obviously the ball's gonna go through him more, so it is kind of stagnant a little bit. So I could definitely see that as well. People just kind of we just enjoy watching this team more because when you're on the team, everyone has to take a step back, and you shine and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily agree that they're better without him. I wouldn't say that they're worse without him either, though. Because they've been playing really well without him. You know what I'm saying?
They don't miss him at all.
So that's the argument right there. If they're not missing a beat at all, are they better with him? If they're literally just if you haven't even noticed that he's gone, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you have more rim protection because he got a lot of blocks this year and last year. He got a lot better as a defender, so you could say that, but they're not missing that really like that right now. So
I honestly don't think they're struggling at all. Obviously, they're going to be, they're not going to say, oh yeah, we're fine without Kevin Durant. They're going to be like, yeah, we need him to win. You didn't need him to beat the Rockets, you know what I'm saying?
It's true.
You didn't need him to, you probably don't need him to beat Toronto either. You definitely didn't need him to beat Portland.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, do you need him? I don't think they need him. I really don't think they need him.
No.
Clearly they don't, because they won 73 before without having him, So they're just as, I don't know.
No, they don't need him. I personally, if I'm KD, I would have went to the Warriors, like I just said. I would have went somewhere else, and I'm leaving this offseason to go build my own dynasty.
He has to go somewhere, bro. He has to go somewhere.
The legacy, it's in my eyes, it's hurt his legacy.
Oh yeah, I mean it's hurt his legacy. I think when people talk back on his career, at least I'm sure he might win more championships, but at least these first two with the Warriors, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, he won, but those were probably some of the easiest championships to win for just a single player, because, like they weren't going up against tough competition. They were just blowing through the West like it was nothing, And then after the season after they just embarrassed you, coming back from 3-1, you know what I'm saying, winning 73 games. Then you're gonna go join the team like they needed you in the first place. No, they didn't need you. You probably decided like, okay, yeah, that's an easy win. Like there's, I don't want to deal with Westbrook. I don't have to deal with other stuff. I can just go there and play, and I'm more than positive that we're gonna get to the championships. And that's and I can't be mad at him for that because I guess if you're gonna be in the NBA, that's the goal, is to win championships. 100%. So do your thing, man. But like when it comes to how aggressive you are and how much of a competitor you are, that's definitely gonna take a dive once you do it, a thing like that. You know what I'm saying? Because back in the day, you didn't see these superstars teaming up together just to win easy championships. They were all competitive. Even when LeBron went to Miami, it's not the same thing. Because Miami was not a 73-win team.
Correct.
Not even close. You know what I'm saying? So even though they teamed up there, he went to a team that didn't need him in a sense. You feel me? Golden State didn't need Kevin Durant at all. Clearly, you can see that since he's been gone, they haven't missed a step.
100%. If I'm KD, I'm gonna go east, or maybe join Portland, even though he just waxed Portland.
Someone needs to go to Portland, man. Someone needs to go to Portland. I'm pissed.
If they get, I'm not gonna be surprised if they get AD or another big man or another wing. But if they get one more piece, it's over for everybody. Because my thing is, guard play wise, had they had Nurkic, and that's what we're missing. So like I said, I believe you said this last week, they didn't have Nurkic, so maybe that is a piece that they're missing.
That is a big piece that they're missing.
Because he was a double man. Nurkic got buckets.
Oh yeah, I don't think they would have beat the Warriors.
I think it would have been sweep though.
No, it wouldn't have. It would have been a lot more competitive. I don't know what that was, but they just need one more person. I think, and hopefully AD. I don't know. Is he still going to LA? Is that still a thing?
I don't know. They say Kyrie going to LA. I don't know why these players.
They say everybody's going to LA, bro. I don't even get that. Why is LA always the destination?
They lose. Y'all suck, bro.
They're not even the best team in LA, man.
Nah, and if I'm a team, I don't even know if I want Kyrie at this point because you saw what he did to Boston. Because when he did not play 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they took LeBron and the Cavs to Game 7 with no Kyrie, no Gordon Hayward. Now they come here and then they lose in 5 games. He got all this drama. He's on the media slandering people, talking about nobody on this team plays hard and blah, 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 blah. They got Terry Rozier going on first take talking about I sacrificed a lot to play, and Terry Rozier gets buckets, so I can believe that. You have all this internal strife. You didn't have when he wasn't playing. Now he's playing, and we have all these issues. Come on, man. It's kind of diva like.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are still gonna want Kyrie because it's Kyrie. He's a top talent in the NBA today. I'm sure he's gonna go to the Hall of Fame. That's obviously what's gonna happen. But I feel like he kind of tries to push the blame on other people a lot. He doesn't want to take the blame. And then when it comes to being a leader in leadership and all that stuff, you kind of need to take the blame in a sense. Because you can't just say, oh, I was playing fine. My team is what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that and expect your teammates to still want to play with you and compete. So I mean, I don't know. I think this offseason he kind of just needs to take a look at himself. Like, if I want to do this without LeBron, I need to figure out how to become a better leader, and bring my guys with me and play to the level that I'm expecting them to play. And then I also need to play at that level You know, because he wasn't playing, crazy amazing either. Like, he wasn't playing bad at all. But, when he was, going, shooting horrible, he was like, well, I don't care. It's like, what do you mean you can't? What do you mean you don't care? Like, your fans care, the team cares. Like, you're not just doing this for yourself. Like, like, obviously, everyone knows you're good, but you're not playing like that. Like, you should be doing a lot better, and, you should be able to lead a team a lot better than you are. And right now, he's not doing that. So we'll see what happens in this offseason. He may go to the Lakers. If he goes to the Lakers and plays with LeBron, that's gonna hit his legacy too. Because it's like, clearly, if you're gonna do that, then you're basically saying, I can't win without him, so I'm gonna go run to him again. You know what I'm saying? This is like, come on, bro.
That, and you made this huge issue about it. You went on First Take after the trade, talking about, I want to be my own man. I don't need LeBron. This and this. You made this whole thing about it. Like, you were and then you just to go right back to him. Like, that's corny.
Super corny.
That's corny to me, bro. Like, have some heart. And this is an instance where I missed 90s basketball. These dudes had heart.
90s and early 2000s basketball.
Dude,
that was like the golden era.
I feel like there was more heart back then. You could see it. I mean, the players now are more talented than ever. Everybody can hit threes. Everybody can dribble. But, I mean, just in terms of heart, competition, where is it at, bro? Like, I like seeing players when they get into it and argue with each other and bicker. I don't want nobody to throw punches and get suspended. But I definitely like it when they get it. Really?
I see that, man.
I'm
rivalries,
cool.
Bro.
I feel it's a good rivalry. I'm cool on that though. I don't want nobody to get suspended, kicked out of the league. I definitely want somebody to get like Houston, Golden State, always get into it. I like Draymond because Draymond gets into it, people.
The rules don't allow you to get into it like they used to back in the day. Like you
they
can't
eject a lot of people.
You can't even look at people without getting ejected now. Back in the day, you could get in people's faces and you could taunt after dunks and stuff like that. But if I dunk on you and I look at you, tech, point at you, that's a tech. So like you gotta be emotionless on the floor. It seems like Some refs let you kind of play a little bit, but at least, especially for this season, like, they were just throwing techs out left and right.
Ejections everywhere.
And it's just like, for what? Like, you can't even scream after a big play now because it might be too loud for the referee's ears. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, man, but I agree with you 100%. I definitely wish players just had a little bit more heart and just competitive, nature and just wanted to compete against each other. And there are some players out there like that. I would argue Damian Lillard, he could have definitely went to another team, teamed up with some people, and possibly won the championship. But he's in Portland. He's there for the long haul. He's like, listen, like I'm gonna prove that I'm just as good, if not better, than the rest of these point guards out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens in the coming future with all of that. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. That it seems like there's a lack of heart nowadays with a lot of these players. A lot of the superstar players, a lot of divas.
Very much so. A lot of divas. And it's cool to have confidence in yourself and be entitled to your opinion, but come on, it just gets annoying, man. And I know they say you get in that position, things change. That wouldn't change about me. My character wouldn't flop like that. I understand we all change, nobody perfect, but I wouldn't, as a competitor, me, myself, and I would not go join the team that just whacks me.
Yeah,
I would not. That's
I
like middle school.
Done that.
That's like middle school stuff, man.
That's just embarrassing though, cause like I just couldn't see myself being like, you know what? This is embarrassing. Now I could see being on what LeBron did and like teaming up like
going to start over.
Going to start over. That's completely different. Although like I'm still what he did teaming up. I don't like the way he handled it. I'm not so much mad what he did and how he got traded, but the way he had the press conference, and then when he got to Miami, they had the whole thing in the stadium. We're not gonna win one, not two, not three. It's just like, bro, just join the team, play basketball. You don't have to. It's not this whole spectacle. You know what I'm saying? Because then now because they let down everyone when they said they're gonna win 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 championships. Like, okay, we'll see. But yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just people want easy rings nowadays. People just want to win easy. They don't want to compete, and I guess that's just the way the NBA is going. I hope not, though. I know a lot with the incoming, players and the drafts and stuff like that. Hopefully, they kind of get spread out a little bit and play, and the talent kind of fills the league up, so it is a lot more competitive. Instead of having just a bunch of teams, 2 teams in the West, like a couple teams in the East, and even then those teams in the East don't even compare to the teams in the West. You look at the records when it comes when the playoffs gets announced and the teams that get in, the top teams in the East wouldn't have even scratched the surface of the West. You know what I'm saying? So how are you expecting the Eastern Conference Finals winner to even compete with the Western Conference Finals winner? So hopefully the East gets a lot more talent, so they can compete at a higher level. But I'm pretty excited for the upcoming drafts in the coming years, just to kind of see where the NBA is gonna go.
100%. Man. Okay, I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay.
All right. So guys, we were talking about artist development and artists changing their sound, going from one thing to another. I think that if you're an artist and you have one way of doing things, find a way to blend it with a different style of what you're doing. That way you hang on to your core fans, and then that way you get new fans. And you're showing you that you can do multiple things, but never let go of what brought you there.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, an artist shouldn't just. I mean, I guess they could just completely change their sound and do something completely different. But yeah, I mean, I expect an artist to always have a piece of what made them in their coming albums of whatever they're doing. Like, you know, with J. Cole with KOD, for example, like he had the trap beat and the flows, but then he was talking about stuff in there, you know. So that's still part of him. He didn't just go off the wall and started talking about drugs and this and, you know, all that and that, you know. I don't know, man. I think I can see a lot of artists almost being scared of trying to experiment because they're not confident in themselves to be able to come up with a album that sounds just as good as what they've been doing. But at the same time, we've had this conversation off air. You know, as much as a fan of, I would love to have an album that my favorite artists just be amazing every single time. I don't expect it because especially if they're known for trying just different things and trying to think outside the box a little bit, like not everything's gonna be amazing, you know, because they're, like you said, they're human beings.
Right.
We're human. Us, the non famous artists, you know, everything that we do isn't amazing, you know. So I don't expect everything that they do to be amazing too, but I'm glad that they're trying new things,
right.
You know, trying to do some new stuff. So me as a fan doesn't get bored of them, you know, because if they're just dropping the same thing, same sound, same content, same flows every single album, I'm like, all right, like this sounds the same as your first album. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bored. I don't care about this anymore. Like when you drop something, I'm not excited. But you know, even the artists when Tyler the Creator, for example, you know, like his albums have been sounding differently consistently, you know. So when it's announced that he's gonna drop something, I'm like, oh, dope. I can't wait to see where he goes with that, you know, and then I make a point to listen to that. But when, you know, other artists that are just known to be trap artists, I'm like, all right, cool, they're dropping an album, I'll get to it. You know, because I already know what's going to be on there.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, I'm more interested in the features they have because I already know what that artist is going to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think a lot of people kind of expect greatness every album that gets dropped from these artists, but you got to be realistic and, you know, understand that not everything's going to be platinum selling, you know, #1 album. You know, but a true fan, if I could even say that, you know, a true fan, it should stick with that artist through thick and thin, you know, like whether it's a good sounding album or a bad sounding album, just understand that, you know, they're trying something different, you know, and I'm sure they're not stupid, you know, they'll know if it's not what the people want and stuff like that, and I'm sure eventually they'll get back to what was them, you know, but let them try some new stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I mean, from their first album that they're creating in their basement with their friends, it's not gonna sound the same as the album 10 years from now when they're millionaires and can collaborate with a bunch of different people from different areas and different regions and stuff like that. Like, you can't expect them to sound the same when their life circumstances aren't the same.
Life
is
going on, things have changed. 444 is a great example.
Exactly.
Early Hove, you know, drug raps, lyricism, all the other kind of stuff. Not the drug raps you have now. Way better. But then you got 444, which is just the evolution of a grown man. Teaching things, talking about relationships, everything is love. One thing I love about Tyler the Creator, he's experimental. I just listened to Flower Boy today, actually. And looking at sounds from Flower Boy to Igor is completely different. Igor is just a lot more drums, a lot more kick. That had a lot more like classic instruments on it. Flower Boy did guitars, pianos in the background. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I think for young artists who really want to take hold of it and understand what artists is, follow Tyler the Creator, man.
Yeah, man, and you know, just don't be afraid to try some new stuff. You know, like if you're inspired by something and you want to try it, but try it. You never know, like that could be your best project. You know what I'm saying? But if you were just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna come out with the same stuff. Then then you're just gonna put yourself in a box. For sure. And people are gonna expect the same stuff from you.
100%. All right, man. Unfortunately, we gotta get off. That went by fast. Tell the people they can find you at, my guy.
You can find me all social medias. Pierce Anderson. Just type my name in. I'll be there. And then all of your different names.
Yeah, I said I was gonna change that. I never changed it.
You gotta stop lying to the people, man.
Twitter at dstreets815, Instagram at DevonnaLan, Facebook in School Detention, Facebook Devonn Overstreet, YouTube in School Detention, and of course you can find me here every Monday, 5 to 6 p.m. on your airwaves. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.